What's up, everybody? King of Fumble here, coming at you with your daily crypto update. Make sure you follow me over there on Telegram. That's t.me/KingofFumble1, as well as my chat, which is going to be linked in the description below. Alright, so in this video, I want to talk about three different things. One of them being the YFV, or now known as the ValueDefi token. So I've kind of jumped out of YFV a while ago because it did have a pretty big downturn, and I decided, it's best probably to sell this thing and to jump back in when it levels out and to see what they do in the meantime. And it's been, a good amount of time, and it does look like YFV has really pulled themselves together and developed a product worth taking a look at in DeFi. And we'll take a look at what that product is and how they kind of set themselves apart from your typical clones of things by doing their own thing with their value vaults, their value liquid, and just building a sort of a Uniswap system that brings DeFi to the next level and rewards people for using their token. That's what DeFi is all about. DeFi is all about helping people get rewarded for being a part of different spaces here in the crypto area. So we'll take a look at what YFV, or the value token, does there. Two other coins I want to quickly and briefly talk about is NFY, which stands for Non-Fungible Yearn, as well as the NoBrainer.Finance. So both of these have their own websites. NoBrainer.Finance is going to be right here, and the Non-Fungible Yearn is going to be right here. And what these tokens are doing is they're basically combining a couple of different DeFi aspects together, which I think is a pretty cool concept. But it's just like, it is going to be hype factor. It is experimental, and I'm going to bold and underline the word experimental because there's just a lot that can go right and there's a lot that can go wrong, and sometimes it just doesn't meet expectations in the long run. But nonetheless, sometimes it does, and sometimes you can earn a lot from a quick flip with tokens like this. So with NoBrainer.Finance and NFY, or Non-Fungible Yearn, basically the two DeFi crazes that they combined is the core token with liquidity being locked in the system so that you cannot take it out whatsoever. A lot of people are confused about why that is, and the reason why that's a good thing is because your token can't dump to zero overnight if that liquidity is locked. In any other crypto, you can have it pump and dump because the developers pump and dump it and do some shady stuff, but you can also have it pump and dump to zero because you have whales that buy up all the tokens and then dump all the tokens on top of you once it goes very high. But with the way the core system is set up, it prevents that from happening, and the price can only go down so much on a daily basis because of the way the liquidity is locked and the tokens are released via farming. So both of them have the core aspect, and they're both trying to also implement the other DeFi craze, which is NFTs, or non-fungible tokens. So we'll talk a little bit more about how these things are progressing and look at the price of them as well. One of them I think is way overvalued. One of them I think is at a pretty good value to purchase right now, and we'll get into that in a second. But first, I want to quickly and briefly talk about YF value. So this one is now known as ValueDefi. I'll have the link in the description below if you guys want to check it out. So what they do is pretty much the same thing. They've really they've had a couple of rough patches. That's definitely one to be said right there. This coin was originally at close to about $100, and it's dumped all the way down to $5.49 due to them kind of running into a lot of road bumps along the way. They've now forked their YFV token all the way over to this value token so that it can be more compatible. If we take a look at the total supply of the value token right now, it is 2 million value, which is not too high. It's not crazy high. So I do think that the price of the value token actually makes sense. $100 would be way too much for a token supply of 2 million at the current moment. So $5 is a very nice price for the supply right now. Maximum supply is 3 million, so it's not like it's going to keep printing tokens for eternity, kind of like sushi or a couple of other things where there's just an unlimited amount of tokens. So that is also another positive, and there's a lot of things that you can farm here. You guys can take a look at the APYs, about 200%. Again, you're not looking at crazy numbers like thousands of percent. Those are usually short-lasted if they ever come up, but with these APYs, as long as the token value of the value token doesn't go down significantly, like down to pennies, then these APYs are going to be pretty good in the long term if this token kind of hovers around this $5 price range, which is what I'm hoping is going to happen. So I am going to purchase back into the value token and pick one of these pools to earn passively again. So that's kind of my strategy with this DeFi. I know a lot of you guys are just looking to flip coins really quickly. This is probably more of a long-term thing rather than a quick coin flip because of the yield farming that you can do with it. Now, if we take a look at the the value token over here on CoinGecko, you can see that it is up 21% at $5.46 today. It can definitely take a drop, but I don't know why. Oh, there we're at the 14-day chart. But if we zoom out a little bit into the 14-day chart, this thing was at about $8 14 days ago. So I think that this is actually a pretty good buy price because the volume is rising, and I think that it's in the midpoint. I always look to see if it's in the midpoint of its all-time high of the chart that I'm looking at, and you know, it can go either way. So you're I feel like you're not going to get super wrecked if this thing goes down. You'll have time to get out if you get scared, but you're also in a position to make a pretty good return since it's at the halfway point of its last all-time high within the past 14 days. And you can zoom out a little bit more. Actually, I think this one is pretty new token, so you can't zoom out much more than that for the value token, but definitely keep your eye on this one. Again, I'll link it below if you guys want to look at it. It's got a new website and everything. They also have the value vaults right here, so you'll notice that this looks a lot like Uniswap. Again, they're rewarding people who are using their YFV token, so definitely keep this in mind. Like, this is what I'm saying about them progressing forward instead of just having the same thing for all eternity like most DeFi clones have. And they even have other things here as well, like the vaults, the wrap, you can wrap your tokens, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I can give a full overview on this later. I haven't done enough research to really, you know, give you guys the tour, but you guys can definitely check it out and see what's going on so that you can make your own decision about whether or not this thing is worth taking a second look at. Now, talking about the other non-fungible tokens, NFY, non-fungible yield, and NoBrainer.Finance, the first thing I want to do is look at the supply of both of these things. I think I did have the tabs of these pulled up. I might have erased one of the tabs, but nonetheless, I'll just tell. Oh, here it is. So yeah, we have them both. So this is the NoBrainer.Finance. The total supply is 30,000, and the price of NoBrainer.Finance is $50. So that's actually a really, really low price for a token supply of 30,000. So I do think that this one is very much undervalued, especially for the fact that they do have core mechanics of them locking their tokens that can really just either keep the price at the low, or it can bring the price a lot higher. Now, the downside is the token was released at a super cheap price. So for a while, it was trading at about $10. So this is about 5x of where it was trading at first. So I'm not sure what the with the economics of the release of the token was like. I'm not sure what the pre-sale gave you, but that's something that you do have to keep note of, even though this coin is undervalued based on the supply. And then our other coin, which is the Non-Fungible Yearn token, has 100,000 supply. So if you just compare these two together, this one should have about 3 times less the value based on the supply, and it has the same value. So to me, this is a little overvalued at the current moment. You know, this can be realistic if it really meets that hype level, but the problem with a token that's this overvalued at launch is that it has to keep getting a huge amount of hype to sustain that. So I would definitely probably wait for this one to dump a little bit before I purchase into it and purchase into the hype. But like I said, if it does get that hype, it will go higher than this. And the same case is true with NoBrainer. So those are those tokens. Again, I'm not sure if these things are open yet to actually do anything. I know NoBrainer, you can lock the liquidity. You can also stake your tokens here too. So there's things that you can do with your NoBrainer.Finance tokens. I don't think that there's anything you can do with your NFY tokens quite yet. And of course, I don't really like to talk about these things, and I always say this because I have to. You guys saw what happened in the last video. But there's a huge amount of risk with these pre-sale tokens, especially before they launch. These things have both already launched. They're already on their way to moving, but even still, there's been so many rugs, so many just straight up scams where everybody loses everything in this stuff. So that's why I don't go too hard and heavy on these projects, even if they look really interesting and you know, have a cool concept like these two do. So I'm cautiously optimistic for NoBrainer.Finance as well as NFY, and we'll see what happens with them in the long run. You know, just to keep the price comparison, we're looking at about $50 for each token, or $50 for one, $40 for the other, and we'll see where it goes from here. If maybe tomorrow these things will be at a nice price afterwards, I'll either sell it or we'll see what happens after that. So check out those 3 things. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any other gems, let me know in the description or in the comments or in my chat. I don't do everything. I don't review everything. And another thing about my chat, I just want to show you guys this real quick. Like, I know that a lot of you guys send me messages and you're like, King of Foam, why don't you respond to my message? But if I scroll down here, these are all the messages that I have to really scan through. So I pretty much just stopped checking them. I know that some of you guys are sending me stuff, but if I don't look at your messages, it's no offense. It's just that I like, this is not my full-time job. I don't have time to respond to 50 messages a day. So just keep that in mind. If you can keep messaging me, and maybe I'll eventually respond, but the best place to contact me is probably in my chat, where you can just at Daily Crypto Update me, and then I'll see if I can respond to you there. So that's just some tips on contacting me. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out.